Welcome guys, in this video we are going to analyze Bitcoin, NASDAQ and S&P 500. Let's start with Bitcoin, and one question here, do you think guys it's time to buy Bitcoin now? If we are going to analyze, okay, let's start with the monthly. So the monthly, we can see that we didn't had any bearish divergence between the last high. So this is the previous high and this is the last high that we had before, around 125,000. We had only some slowdown on the histogram of MACD, and then we start to have the crossover and Bitcoin moved lower. If we are going to go on the weekly chart, we can obviously see that we had the bearish divergence between the last highs formed here. We can see the divergence that we have is on the MACD. So the price, what did the price, after this bearish divergence, the price moved lower and even hit, around like 60,000, or I think almost exactly 60,000, like last week. All right, so now it's time now to buy Bitcoin. We can see, here that we are in a really strong support that is still holding. The price closed quite like above this support, and now possible that maybe from here, to start already, to go and to see, the next higher high formed on Bitcoin. For this one, I will just, try to analyze again. So what do we have here? If in case, on the monthly, I can see, with the no divergence, but here, I believe, that if we are going to see one more higher high and then, create a divergence, on the MACD, then, we can have one more drop, really drop on Bitcoin. But let's put now like imaginary like Fibonacci extension from on the last leg. So the last leg starts from here, the higher low, went to the higher high, and we assuming that the price now is gonna stop around like 50,000. I believe that maybe we can move around 50,000, and we're gonna see the extension of this leg of the Fibonacci extension. So we can see that the first level is at 100% is around 161,000, and then the next level is around 192,000. But before that, if we are going on the daily chart, so I will just reset the chart now. If we are going on the daily chart, we can see that the structure now is bearish. So the structure is bearish. We had here previously we had the first wave, one wave to the downside, followed by another leg to the downside, and after this, we had a correction again in two waves, one wave to the upside and one more leg to the upside again, and then the price moved lower. We break the trend line of the correction on ABC and then start moving lower and lower. We can see clearly on the MACD that currently possible that to form a divergence, but on the histogram we still had lower lows that are that we made. For me, here what I can see here on what's going to happen, I believe that after this correction that we are going to have, I believe that one more low, to be created around like 50k or 49,000 or something like this. And after this, I believe, that we can go and go higher and higher with Bitcoin. But for the moment, of course, that we can still put some money on Bitcoin, buy, some Bitcoin now. Only the thing is that just to be careful, because it's really possible that to have one more lower low, and only after that to see bullish momentum on Bitcoin. Okay, so if we are going to the NASDAQ now, so NASDAQ we are going to see on the monthly. The monthly we can see clearly that we don't have any bearish divergence on monthly, only some slowdown on the MACD. The price, we can see clearly that for like first month, 2 months, 3, 4, 5 months, the price doesn't do nothing, just staying in the range. And I'm expecting that after this range, to be broken, I believe, that we are going to have, like a big move, neither to the downside or the upside. But for the moment, how the price is looking on the weekly chart, so the weekly chart the same, we don't have the bearish divergence. For me, what I want to see here, I just want to see, like the completion of this bearish divergence. So on the price, if we are looking on the price, I'm expecting one more push on the NASDAQ, to the upside, create the bearish divergence, and only after that, we are going to see, like a drop, a big drop, here on the NASDAQ. And I believe, we can even go lower, like 22,000 on NASDAQ. So for NASDAQ, for the moment, what I'm expecting on NASDAQ, I believe after this breakout, we should go to the upside around like 28,000, and from 28,000 to see, like a massive correction to the downside. This is for most of the indices. I believe, like soon they will just have, the last leg, to the upside, and after that, we're expecting some big correction move to the downside. S&P 500, if we are going to have S&P 500, S&P 500 is exactly like NASDAQ. We don't have bearish divergence here, only some slowdown on MACD on monthly. The trend, is still looking good. We can see, that the price, is starting, to push higher and higher, but really slow. So the volumes are quite little low. So there are not so many buyers left, here in this market. If we are going on the weekly chart the same, we don't have any bearish divergence. So I believe, that we can create, this bearish divergence now, the completion of this bearish divergence. So one more higher high to be created around 7,500. So around this zone, I'm expecting, to then a drop, to have the big correction, and after that big correction, to go again and make higher highs. And the correction, I believe that we can even, go lower, is like 6,200 or 6,100. So around this zone, I can see the correction is going. So for the moment on the S&P 500, for me, I will expect, some bullish momentum here, to go, a little more aggressive, to the upside. But then, after we are going to have, this movement to the upside, really, I think is going to happen fast, because once we are going to break, this range that we have here for quite some time, then I believe, after this move, that is gonna be really powerful on the bullish side. After that, just be ready, for a correction to come on the indices. This is what I can say, that is going to happen. If in case we will not have this correction now, and we will not push higher, of course, this is another chance, that what we go and see, make one more false breakout to the upside. So here, one more false breakout here to the upside, make one more higher all-time high, and then, to have, the big correction to the downside, and only after that, to have the big move, to the upside. But for the moment, the price, how is moving the price, I assume, that there are more to go to the upside and downside for the moment. I was expecting like really a correction from this zone, but the correction didn't come, just stayed in range, made like a false breakout on the daily, and now, the price moved really strongly, to the upside. So that's why I assume, that we are ready, to see some more moves, to the upside on the indices for the moment, and only after that, to have a bigger correction. All right. If you have some ideas, no problem. Just tell them, put them in the chat, and should be all right.